So I figured it's been a week since I got my Switch 2, and I've got some time spare, so I'll give you some of my impressions on the console. It's not going to be like a proper scripted video or anything. I've got some notes, so I'm just going to talk about it. So I bought it on the Thursday, filmed that unboxing video, brought it home, and then didn't touch it again until the Saturday. Just didn't get around to it. Part of that was because I was trying to get a hold of a Pro controller, which I did manage to get. But another part was I just didn't really feel the urge to. I was a bit busy on the Friday. Not massively so, I could have made time if I cared, but I just didn't. But yeah, set it all up on the Saturday, which is what you're watching now. There's a couple of bits of the setup that really annoyed me. Some of it is purely from a filming standpoint, from like a recording standpoint, and some of it is just annoying anyway. Like, the first 15 seconds of the setup process have to be done handheld. You just can't do them docked. So you have to... I had it docked in the first place, so I had to take it out of the dock just to turn it back on again, and then immediately put it back in the dock, and then I could carry on the setup process. I don't get the point. It just plays like a little animation. Like, you can put it back in the dock and do the rest of it then. I'm not going to show you my internet settings, so I just skipped over that bit. A couple of little things that I've noticed. It won't work with the original Switch adapter, which at first I found really annoying just because I already had that plugged in and I just wanted to move it over, but it turns out that the Switch 2 does draw a lot more power. So I guess it makes sense, but I still would have liked it to work. Like, it won't work at all. It doesn't output a signal. You get nothing if you try. I assume it'll still charge the console, but it won't do anything else. Also, the dock's got a fan in it, which is supposed to keep the console cold. Well, not cold, but cooler. It doesn't seem to do anything. Like, maybe it does. Maybe the console would get incredibly hot otherwise, but every single time I've had to take it out of the dock while using it, which is a lot thanks to Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour, it's been noticeably hot. Plugging in the cables to the dock is still unnecessarily awkward. They put the Ethernet port is so close to the bottom of the dock that it's really awkward to get a grip on the cable to push it. I don't understand the point. I would honestly rather than just have them face outwards and just have the dock not even thicker. It wouldn't need to be thicker. It would just need to be oriented a different way instead of having them sideways. I managed to get them in, but they're just so awkward. I don't really get why they do it like that. In terms of how the console feels, it is noticeably bigger than the Switch. I wasn't sure if it would be. Well, I knew it would be. I knew it was physically larger, but you can really tell. There's a bit later on where I had to go on my Switch and my Switch 2 at the same time so I could use the virtual keycards, which I really don't like, but I'll talk about that later. And just using one after the other, there was such a big difference. There's a bit here where I sign into my Nintendo account, and it takes me about 10 minutes, so I've probably cut some of it out. Mostly because you scan the QR code, it takes you to the website on my phone. I had to log in on my phone. Then it gives you a code. Then I went onto the Switch 2 to do it, but honestly, this bit is my fault. I'm just not used to the controller again. It's a while since I've used my Switch, so I got confused with the A and the B button being the other way around than every single other fucking console that exists. So I accidentally cancelled out of it, so then I had to restart the process and re-log in again. Even if I hadn't messed up, it all just takes so long. It just does not need to take that long to log into a console. As a side note, I had to log in 9 times. Because you have to log into the console. Then once you're logged into the console, if you go onto the Switch eShop, you have to log in again. And then when you want to buy something, you have to log in again. And then I bought 2 things, so I had to log in again. Even though you're supposed to be able to just skip the login after the first one, there's a tick box for it. I ticked it every single time, but it still made me log in again every single time. I haven't bothered getting a microSD card yet. I might do eventually. I will do eventually, but not really planning on buying that many Switch 2 games. Or at least not anytime soon. I might get Donkey Kong, but honestly I'm just not sure how much I care. It looks fine. Part of me wants to get it, purely because if I don't get it, it feels like a waste seeing as I own the console, and it's the only thing out for it. But at the same time, not all that interested. Platforms just aren't really my thing. The first thing I wanted to do was check out the, well, not even check out the game keycards, it kind of forces you into it straight away. So I had a quick look, and I was like, okay, then I left. The next day, or was it later the same day? Either way, it was after I'd finished recording setup process that you'll see. I went to go launch one of the games and realised I couldn't because my original Switch was still tied to my account, which is, because I own both. So I had to then go and update my original Switch before I could play a Switch 2 game on my Switch 2. And I don't understand. I understand if I wanted to play a Switch game on my Switch 2. I could understand if it was one of those cross-generation games. But it isn't. It was Mario Kart World. That's only available on the Switch 2. There is no need for that. It's just made the process of me playing my own games more awkward for absolutely no reason. I also didn't bother doing the transfer because I have no intention. I like to keep them separate. I'm not going to install every Switch game I have on my Switch 2. I would like to have them as separate consoles. I'm just going to go back and play Switch games on my Switch sometimes. Like, if I buy a new Switch game, I'll play it on my Switch too, but if it's a Switch game I've already got, I will probably just play it on my Switch, especially considering I have no desire to pay for the upgrades. Like, I understand that they're supposed to just run better anyway, but I so rarely go back and play a game I've already played that it's just not really of interest to me. I was looking at getting some of the Nintendo Online a month or two, and then I saw I had a week trial, and I was like, okay, well maybe I'll redeem that then. And then I just realised I don't care. It's Mario Kart. Mario Kart is the only thing I'd play online, and I just don't want to. And there is absolutely no benefit to Switch Online unless you're playing online. What I mean is, there is Switch Online and the expansion pass. Switch Online is only useful if you want to play online, and I don't. And the expansion pass, you can only buy with a year of online, and I don't even want any online. So I just have no intention of it. And even then, it's all old games, and I own the vast majority of the games that I would be interested in playing that are on there anyway, so I'll just play them. There's just about no benefit to it to me, so just didn't bother. Okay, so now we've gone through the setup and everything. The first game I played was Mario Kart World, and it's a Mario Kart. I don't really care about any of the open world stuff. I've done some of the challenges, but it's just not that interesting. It's fine. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, I'll play more of this open world stuff, and then I'm like, I just don't care. I don't think it controls well enough for me to care about traversing the open world stuff. If you miss something, you can rewind time, and that works. I don't know, like, I know some people are really good at it, and I'm just not, and I don't enjoy controlling the carts, basically. And I don't know if it's just because I'm playing as Drybones, but I only want to play Drybones. I almost exclusively play Mario Kart games where you can play Drybones. I did play a lot of Double Dash, and I don't think Drybones was in that. But every Mario Kart I've played since then has only been one where I could play Drybones. And I don't know if Drybones is just bad in this game, but everything feels terrible. It all feels weirdly slow, and I don't understand why. There's the different CCs, and there is no noticeable difference in you in the different CCs. Your opponents are faster, but I don't feel any faster. I just feel really slow all the time. Again, maybe that's a Drybones thing, but like I say, I have no interest in playing anyone other than Drybones. Speaking of, every single time you get a new character, it rearranges the entire character select. I just hate that. If you've got a main roster, have your main roster and then add your new ones on at the end. But what this does is rearrange the entire character roster every single time you unlock a character, and I don't want that. Like, it's just really annoying having to find Drybones again every time. Just leave him in one place. It does the same with carts as well, but that bothers me less. Because I try out the new carts, whereas I'm only interested in playing Drybones, so don't do that. So this is like kind of spoilers, but not really. When you beat all the Grand Prix, you see the credits, and it's like pictures of the world and like stuff from the credits coming up, and it's like kind of stylized as like a newspapers. And the final one is newspaper with the photograph in the center, and it's all the characters, except there's no Drybones, and I don't get it. Either have your entire roster there, or have like the character you just beat the game with there. But what they've got is a selection of the original roster. And yeah, I know I keep talking about how much I love Drybones, but I just really like Drybones. I just think he's cool. I actually only like Drybones this much because of Mario Kart. He was the character I played the most in Mario Kart DS. I liked him in that game, and have liked him as a character ever since. I keep saying him, he's a skeleton. The point is, it just feels really weird to beat the game with a character, and then the congratulations at the end to not involve that character at all. Either it should just be the character you beat the game with, or it should be a pre-rendered thing with all the characters, but it's just this like selection of some of them and not everyone, and I just find it weird. Like, it's not even like every character that was in that race, it's just Mario and a load of other people, but I don't know, it really bugged me. I have a lot more to say about Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour, and none of it good. I think the best thing I could say about it is there is a lot of content there, it's just all incredibly boring, but there is a lot. A lot of people have been saying that you need to buy a controller or a 4K TV or a camera to beat it, and you don't. You will need them to actually experience the content though. There's a couple of people around the world who will tell you that you can skip things and you'll just get the credit as if you've beaten them anyway. If you go and walk up to one of the attendants and press, it's basically that you do an SOS with button presses, and it just gives you the medals basically. So you don't actually need those things to beat the game. But if you actually want to see the content, then yeah, you'll need a 4K TV, and you'll need either a controller or the charging grip because the normal grip that comes with the console doesn't have the extra buttons. You'll need a USB camera. It's a lot, and I just kind of hate it. I bought a Pro Controller, and just as an aside, the Pro Controller is really nice. Of all of the Switch 2 things, I think the Pro Controller is my favourite. It just feels really good. It feels a lot better than the actual Joy-Cons, which is the same with the first one, but like the sticks feel better, like everything feels nicer about it. One thing that did surprise me is I thought the back of it was silver, like chrome sort of, and it's not, it's just grey. The photographs it looks silver, but in person it's just grey, which isn't a complaint, I was just kind of surprised. It's got like this really nice like soft touch feel to it. The extra buttons are actually placed in really good positions. Every other controller I've got that has extra buttons have never been a position that I've found comfortable. Like there's some on the Steam Deck and they're not in a good place. I got the extra button thing that came for the DualShock 4 and I used it about twice and then put it away and never touched it again. I've got a different controller that's got some right near the bumpers and they're okay. I don't use them, but at least they're like close to where I might put them. But rather than being on like the back of the controller, on the Switch 2 Pro controller, they're like more on the grips, and it's just a much better position, and it's like exactly where my middle fingers rest, and it's just perfect for me. I'm trying to think, but I actually don't think I have any complaints about the controller. Unlike everything else with the console, I don't think I have any complaints about that. Actually, no, that's not true. Way too expensive. There you go. But yeah, for the game. It's just, you have to spend so much money to get all of the content out of it, and I just don't think it's worth it at all. It's also just not fun. It's so boring. There's quizzes, and the quizzes will be like, the minimum is 1, and the most I've seen so far is 5 questions. But every one of those involves you reading a display first, basically. And every one of those displays is like 6 to 15 pages. And if you've got 5 questions, that's 5 of those displays. So that means you've got like, 75-ish pages to read first? And like, yeah, there's not a whole lot to them, but the writing is so boring. And half the time they're accompanied by these videos that you can't skip as well. So it all just takes so long. A play session of this game, for me, has been taking like half an hour. Part of it is because a lot of it is reading, but it's not even that. I just get so bored of the reading that I'll just start doing something else while I'm playing. And then be like, oh yeah, I should carry on. You go and talk to an attendant, and they spawn some displays. You read the displays, go back to the attendant, answer like a couple of questions, and then get some marks for it. And you can do that for everything, because there's like multiple of them in every single area. And then there's also the stamp rally, which is the closest thing to interesting, just in that I like stamp rallies. But they actually make the stamp rallies weirdly annoying, because they're all hidden. So you have to just kind of rub up against everything and hope one appears. Most of the time they're pretty obvious, but every now and again there'll be one just like in the middle of a room, and you won't know. So you'll just sort of like stumble upon it eventually. The tech demos I'll go with first are tech demos. Which is to say there's not a whole lot to them, and they show off what they're trying to show off, and that's about it. They're not usually particularly interesting, they're not exactly offensive, they're just completely fine. But the minigames are fucking terrible. Like, legitimately some of the worst content I've played. I just hate so many of them. And so many of them are obsessed with you using the mouse mode on the Joy-Cons, which just isn't fun. The Joy-Con mouse mode does not work that well. For me, for some reason, it always seems to drift downwards. If you are not holding it perfectly straight, it reads every movement as a diagonal, which means you can't just move left to right or up and down, because you're always moving in one of the other directions as well. And it's purely because of the way it works. Like, with a normal mouse, it doesn't matter the rotation of the mouse, essentially. It will always just work the way it works. Like, if I move left on a mouse, I move left on a mouse. And if I move up on a mouse, I move up on a mouse. But with the Joy-Cons, it just always seems to do both. I have yet to find a way of getting it to just do one. Like, they say you can use it on any surface, and like, kind of you can. Like, if anything, that's kind of impressive, because it uses like an actual camera to take pictures of the area you're at, rather than using like lasers, which is how most mics work now. So it doesn't need to be like even a perfectly flat surface, it'll just kind of like work it out. But it doesn't seem to work. I can't really describe it, it just never feels right. Part of me is like, oh wow, this works as a mouse. And another part of me is like, this feels worse than every mouse I've ever used. The times I'm using it, I'm not going, it's impressive that they've got a mouse to work. I'm going, this feels worse than my normal mouse. Like, I would just rather be using a normal mouse. I'm only about halfway through it at the moment, because there is so much to it. Like, it's going on for so long, and I just don't care, but I want to get it done. But so many of the minigames require you to use the mouse, which for me means that every single time it goes, this minigame uses the mouse, I have to get up, walk across the room, get the Switch 2 and bring it back, use the mouse for 5 minutes, then put it back again. And I hate doing that. It's just really annoying because some of the games I understand. One of the games is literally just move the mouse. It's like click some targets. And that's one of my issues actually as well. Like I realise I'm just sort of rambling, but it's because every time I mention something, I remember something else I hate. One of the games is click some targets. And it's like click 4 targets. But you get so little time to do it in. And it requires such precise movement, which the Joy-Con is not good enough at doing. So like I'm always overshooting or undershooting, but I'm talking like you get like 2 seconds to click 4 buttons that are moving on the other side of the screen. So you start on one side, have to swipe across to the other one, and then move it 4 times within 2 seconds. And I use my mouse a lot. This does not feel good for me. And I don't feel like a normal person would have an easier time of it. Like a normal person who like doesn't use a mouse basically constantly every day would not be happy with this. But the other thing is that I don't think a normal person would buy this. Like a normal person would maybe play it if it had been free, but it isn't free, so I don't think anyone will play it. So the mouse feels terrible. Every single time I've got to use it, I've got to get up, walk across the room, get my Switch 2, bring it back over to where I'm sat, use it for 5 minutes, put it back away again, carry on with the game on my controller. And it's like, oh, just use this Joy-Cons. And it's like, I bought the Pro Controller so I could use the Pro Controller. More to my actual original point. There are some games where it makes sense that it uses the mouse, but there are other games where it just doesn't. One of the tech demos is look at the different resolutions. And what you can do is there's a slider, and you can move the slider one way, and it'll show you one resolution, and you can move it the other way, and it'll show you the other resolution. Why does that need my mouse? What do I need the mouse for that? It's one dimension. You move left or right. You can do that with a joystick. You do not need to use a mouse for it. And so many of the games are like that, where it's like, you have to play it in the specific way they've designed for you to play it, but there is no need for you to play it that way. There is no real reason why it has to be done with a mouse. There is no real reason why it has to be done with the Joy-Con. Like, so many of the games are about the HD Rumble, which the Pro Controller has, but you have to use the Joy-Cons. And it's like, well, why? I should be able to use whichever method I want as long as it has the functionality, and it has the functionality, but no, you have to do it their specific way, which, like I say, means every single time it tells me this, I have to get up and grab them, and it's so frustrating. I just don't want to. I think, to sum it up, it is probably the worst Nintendo thing I've ever played. There are other Nintendo games I hate. Like, I really don't like Arceus. I did not enjoy that at all. I can't say I didn't enjoy it at all, but I didn't enjoy my time with it. But there are little things there that redeemed it. Like, I just like Pokemon. I like watching them walk around. I love Mudkip. This sort of thing. There are no redeeming features. Oh, actually, I didn't even talk about this. There are lost items. There you go. I realise I've said nothing about them, but the game doesn't care about me, though. You can find them, and you can hand them in, and so far there has been absolutely no reason to do either, and you also have to do them one at a time. You can't find a lost item and then find another lost item. You have to find the lost item, go and hand it back in, then find the next one. Otherwise it just won't let you pick it up. There are absolutely no redeeming features to this game. It is just not fun, frustrating the entire time, boring to read through, boring to play. There is just nothing there, and it is frankly insulting to every single person who's bought a Switch 2 that not only does this exist, but they expect you to pay extra money for it. I said keep an eye on it in my review, and I kind of regret that because you shouldn't buy it. It's just terrible. When I said that, I was hoping that there'd be at least interesting information here, but even if the information is vaguely interesting, it is presented in such a way as to be boring and put even the people like me who should care, put me off completely. Playing the Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour has actually managed to make me like the console less, because it's just such a frustrating and boring experience. But not only that, it is one of like 2 things to play on the console at the moment, the other one being Mario Kart World, and it's like, World is fine, but I'm going to do like a single race, and then go, okay, and then turn it off. Mario Kart has never really been a huge deal for me, so I don't really care that much, but I'll play it for a little bit and then turn it off and then carry on with my day. Whereas this is like the only other thing to play on the console. It is boring, and it makes me not want to turn the console on, because I know if I turn the console on, I'm going to do some more of this, and like, yeah, I get it, I could just not play it, but then it's a waste of even more money, and there is nothing else to play. The only other things on the console are games I've either already played on different platforms, or games I already played on the Switch. I know there's stuff coming in the future, but right now, the Switch 2 is too expensive, there's nothing to do on it, and it's fine. Everyone is saying that it's better because it is technically more impressive, and that is true. Games run better on it. But I don't care. Like, I enjoy the games that run like shit anyway. I don't care. As long as the game design is fun, I'm going to enjoy it. Like, I can look past all of its flaws. But yeah, it'll make those experiences better. But it's not worth paying this much money for that. It's just not worth it. Like, the console isn't worth it. The games aren't worth it. I don't know. Maybe it'll change in the future. But right now, I wouldn't really advise anyone buy a Nintendo Switch 2. I don't think you're missing out on anything.
Special thanks to my patrons, Justin Wood, Hobbs and Koopy Vegeta. You can join my patrons at patreon.com/Holden Gatsby, check out my TikTok and Twitter at Holden Gatsby, and follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Holden Gatsby. Don't forget to subscribe to all of my channels. If you want more, you can watch my last video now, but if not, then thanks for sticking around. Bye.